we will start by building a new use case. In order to do that, we'll click on the use case folder and then the new use case button. Here we will give our use case a name. We will call it sample use case and we'll hit create. Now that we are here in the use case, let's discuss what we are trying to achieve. If you have used our diagramming module, you have seen that you can make use cases automatically simply by creating a diagram. Here in the use case module, we are doing the opposite. Here, we are going to type out our narrative textually and the program will automatically generate a diagram for us. So let's begin. Here, we will make a login use case. We will start with a user selects login function. Once we have provided this step, we can click on enter to go to our next line. But before we type anything, we can see that our diagram has already started to take shape. Our next step here can be something like, the system provides login page followed by enter user credentials. And then our next step might be a decision note. It may be something like determining if the credentials are correct. So we can see that right now it is just a standard node like the rest of the nodes we have created. But by adding a question mark to the step, we can see that we have transformed it from a process note to a decision note. Now, let's branch off from this and we'll determine our alternate and exceptional workflows. We'll do this by using the branch tool. And here let's make our alternate scenario. Have credentials failed? So here we can call it as credentials failed and we'll hit on OK. Now that our alternate scenario has been created, we can provide steps for the alternate flow. We can call it if no, do thing A. Now you can see that we have created a pathway from our decision node added to our next node in our alternate scenario. Now let's go ahead and make another scenario. Or we can place our cursor on the step where it says, are the credentials correct? We'll branch off from this, create our exception scenario, and call it page freezes. And the next step we can add is to say, if freeze occurs, do thing B. Now we can further elaborate our primary scenario. We will add another step to it and we'll call it as if yes, successful login. And finally we can say something like system shows user page. And this is how we can build out a use case textually with a diagram pairing automatically. Let's take a look at the diagram that we have created by clicking on the diagramming tab. From here, we can go ahead and only show a primary flow. We can also look at the primary and other flows, or we can just show an outline. If we need to adjust the diagram, we can simply click on where we want to adjust the diagram and drag it into a different position. In this way, the diagram becomes a little more readable, and then we can save our changes for this work item and save the diagram as a ping. Let's save this now. We have now saved the changes that we have done since our checkout. Now let's go back to our Steps tab, and let's talk about what you can do from the Steps menu. We have already seen that you can create a use case, but what if you want to go back to a prior step of the use case? To go back to the previous part of the use case, let's tie this exceptional scenario back into step number, which is the login function. Now we will click on to freeze occurs. Do thing B, and here we can click on the merge function from the ribbon bar. This is going to bring us the merge window. We can choose the step that we want to merge this back to and we'll hit on OK. We can then see that the merge is showing. It's also available within the diagram. Now again, if you need to organize the diagram, you can do so from the diagramming tab. Now this brings us to the end of our video. Thank you for watching.